Okay, everybody. Good late morning. We got some Seattle Seahawks breaking news here, although I don't really know how much it's breaking at this point because this happened a couple of hours ago. Of course, this would happen early in the morning, the day after I spend the whole day out of the house up in the big city. I was up in Seattle yesterday, walking around for like almost 5 hours, checking stuff out. And naturally, when I got home, I didn't really want to do anything but sleep. And now, well, here we are with some big Seahawks news the next morning. Leonard Williams has been extended by the Seattle Seahawks. It's a 3-year extension, which is a year more than I thought it would be. But I understand that there's always some degree of risk when it comes to extending an older player. And Leonard Williams is an older player. But given how good Leonard Williams is, and given how defensive tackles tend to age pretty gracefully, my mentality was however long you can keep them, keep them. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So, Leonard Williams, 3-year extension. It has in recent times been made official. 3 years, $90 million extension. So that'll carry him through his mid-30s as a Seahawk. And I don't know if he'll play the entirety of that 3-year extension because you're talking about a 4-year commitment now because you got this year and then you've got the next 3. But again, my mentality here was take care of him because you can't replace a player like a Leonard Williams. You're just not going to be able to find a guy this good. You're just not going to be able to find a guy this effective without either picking very high in the draft or making a monstrous trade. We were very fortunate to be able to get Leonard Williams for the relatively cheap cost in the trade that we did with the Giants because at that time the Giants were very bad and Leonard Williams didn't necessarily have the sterling reputation as a player that he does now because he had spent his whole career at that point playing for relatively bad teams. So Leonard Williams, 3 years, 90 million, that's 30 million per year, which is among the most expensive defensive tackles in football. If you want to line them up and compare them, take Myles Garrett off this list, by the way. He's not an interior defensive lineman. I don't know why they put him here. Jalen Carter just got the 38. Quinnen Williams got the 35.3. Jeffrey Simmons got the 35.3, basically. Chris Jones, a couple years ago, got the 31 3/4. Vita Vea got the 1-year, $30 million extension. So don't even look at that. That's just kind of a 1-year extension. It's not really equivalent. Then you got Big Cat right there at the 30. So right around the top 5 for interior defensive linemen. It is a lot of money, but I think when you take a look at how good Leonard Williams is, I think when you take a look at how effective he is as a player, and again, I want to stress this, defensive tackles tend to age well, and he is coming off one of the best seasons of his career, so I'm not really stressed out about the idea of him suddenly falling off a cliff. It's going to be, hopefully, and I think for defensive tackles, it often is the case. If he does start to level off, it's going to be more gradual, and we'll end up getting our money's worth because with the way the cap goes, it's really not that hard to get your money's worth out of a player as long as he's a good player, as long as he's a star. And Leonard Williams is a star. Some people would say he's a superstar, and that may be true as well. And, if a superstar levels off a little bit, the thing is, he's still a star. So I'm happy. I love it. I'm enthused. Glad that Leonard Williams will be around for a few years more. And let's keep it rolling. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today and remember to always gamble responsibly. One other note, by the way, it's apparently a $56 million guarantee, so that's actually not a massive chunk of the deal. It's more than half of it, but it's not two-thirds. So that's not too bad either. And we'll see exactly how the deal sets up probably sometime later today or tomorrow. But that probably sets it up to where that final year of the deal is mostly not guaranteed, and the Seahawks are going to have some pretty healthy options going into it. So I think that it could be a 3-year situation where he plays another 3 years and then he might retire, or maybe he plays 3 years and then we let him go, or we extend him maybe if he's still balling out. I wouldn't count him out. Like, he's a very talented player. There's a tremendous base of talent, and he is one of those guys who could theoretically play well into his old age. So gonna definitely keep my mind open, gonna keep my options open here, and let him tell me when he's not got it anymore. Now, there is a question of, will this contract come back to bite? And, I mean, it is a 3-year extension, which is more than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 2-year extension. I think the money is more or less in line, like, per year than what I was kind of expecting here. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe this is the kind of contract that's going to really come back to bite, because the thing to keep in mind, a lot of these extensions that we give out to these younger players that still have multiple years left on their rookie deal, like a Devin Witherspoon, like a JSN, and eventually like a Byron Murphy or a Gray Zabel, they take a while to kick in the big money. Those first couple years tend to be very tame. So you can make it kind of work out timeline-wise, where early on, in the years where you're giving Leonard Williams the massive money, you're not necessarily giving the big money to some of your younger guys. And by the time that you are, Leonard Williams is probably retired by that point. And that goes for also something like a Sam Darnold extension, right? Because a Sam Darnold extension, you wouldn't see the massive money kick in until several years down the line, because any extension Sam Darnold gets now, after the year he just had, assuming he has another good year, is going to be long term. So you can get away with cheaper cap hits early, and then later on is when the punishment comes in, but you can delay that until somebody like a Leonard Williams is off the team. But I did this exercise a little bit earlier. I did this exercise a little bit, it was like a couple weeks ago, just taking a look at everything that is currently committed to this team long term right now, either officially or effectively, with all of these really good superstar or star level players that are on this team for the next at least 3 years. And now Leonard Williams is officially part of that group, with his contract now extending through 2029. So you can see all the star level power we've got tied to this team for a while. And in some cases, some of these players are even tied to this team probably for another 8 years, because we know the extension is coming, even if we're a ways away from it. So you've got now 2 superstar level defensive tackles in that group. You've got 3 quality offensive linemen. You've got a superstar wide receiver, a superstar cornerback, a star defensive back, maybe the best punter in football. It's all knotted up, man. And then, of course, you've got this group. These are more the good players or the unknown players who have high upside that are also theoretically committed to this team for the long term. And you can see why things are so good in Seattle right now. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Going to be streaming in like a little more than half an hour. See you guys there. Go Hawks.